Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can be alerted when new content is released. Enjoy the video.
When do you experience the most love?
Ooh,
personally?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it turns out that the signature of the quantum field is greater and greater degrees of oneness and wholeness, right? So think about it. When we live in stress, we live in separation, right? Because our senses fool us into believing you're there and I'm here, and everybody is separate from us, and everything is separate from us. That's 3D reality, right? But as you start opening the center, all of a sudden, when you become nobody, no one, no thing, nowhere, and no time, right? That's the moment that your consciousness lines up with the consciousness of the field. That's when you are totally present. Now, here's the deal. If I can get people to believe that just because they can't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, if they can just connect and pay attention to that field and stay present with it and become more aware of it, moment after moment after moment, every interaction with that invisible field, every experience lays down new circuits in their brain for them to perceive more of it, right? So then as they keep their attention on it, they start moving closer and closer to it, so they experience less separation and more oneness and wholeness. So then when that happens, there's a cascade of all kinds of physical and chemical and energetic things that begin to happen. So for me, the best way that I can describe that field is it's intelligent love. It's greater levels of order and unity and oneness. And when you strike it and you hit it, it is the most incredibly electric feeling you will ever have. It is the most familiar, unfamiliar feeling you will ever have. You will swear that you are ancient in that moment, and you will connect. And it won't be just like love for your puppy. You will feel it in every single cell of your body. And I mean like a vibration, a coherence where your body becomes electric. And the only way we can describe that is love. You taste that one time.
You want it all the time.
Oh, here's what I say. I always say, the first time it happens, the first time it happened to me, and every time since, when I come back to my senses, I always say the same thing. Joe Dispenza, you got this all wrong. Because some veneer, some conditioning is lifted. You start realizing that the way you think life isn't that way. So now, when I've had those moments, Louis, I have said, there cannot be any more love than this until the next experience.
Till next time.
I mean, how much is there, right? I mean,
Wow.
you get super humbled.
When was the last time?
Ooh, about 5 days ago. Yeah.
What was the moment?
Ooh, I just had a very profound mystical experience. I was, I'll tell you the short story.
And how often does it happen also?
I don't know. I mean, I live for them.
Yeah. So you try to do it every month if you can? Or
No,
weekly?
I just do the meditations, and then when they happen, if I'm just in the right place and I don't have a plane to catch or an email to answer, and I have a little laxity and I can kind of surrender into the moment, I just, I had this incredible, I don't know how to describe this, but there was a geometric pattern, like a mandala, I don't know what it was, and it moved right through my entire body, and it was like working with me, with my physical body, and
Wow.
if I could surrender to it, it was just incredible bliss. I mean, incredible bliss. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. And
Wow.
and when that occurs, when it happened to me, I had this, my heart was just lit up like, it was an experience. It wasn't a physical experience, you know. It was from within. And here's the weird thing: every time it happens, my heart just feels alive, like it lasts for days. Like the emotion from the experience lasts for days. And people are like, "What's up with you? Like, what?" And you're just kind of got
so
this,
joyful.
you got this big smile on your face. I just am so happy to be alive, right? And so I think that independent of, listen, I now know, I mean, we've measured genetic changes, hormonal changes, neurotransmitter changes. We've measured immune system responses by trading fear for gratitude. We've measured gene expressions. We now know that people can signal the gene to reduce cancer and tumors, signal the gene to grow new neurons. We've measured this. Signal the gene for stem cells to go to damaged tissues and repair them. Oxidative stress gene signal. We've seen that in our students. Now, here's the deal. After all of those studies in the last 6 years, you can't tell me you're too old to do this work. Can't tell me that. We got people in their 80s doing miraculous things. Can't tell me you're too sick to do this work. We got people that were at the end of their life, stage 4, and we turn that battleship around.
Wow.
You can't tell me that you had too turbulent of a past to do this work. People that were really rough pasts that are now free. You can't tell me you've never meditated before. But people have never meditated before, the most profound mystical experience. Wow. You can't tell me you're too overweight, too underweight, too out of shape, too in shape. You can't tell me that anymore, because all colors, all races, everybody can do it. That's the cool part about it. And when you get a community of people together and you move them from one state of mind to another, there's this moment. And I can almost predict when it happens, the second or third day, where people just start hooking up. And then when they start hooking up, you know, we're seeing now in our events. I mean, a lady that was blind from birth, 5% vision, by the end of the event was seeing. I mean,
wow.
How do you explain that? We had 3 people in the last 2 events that were deaf, that are hearing now.
Wow.
People with crutches that were limited, or walking without crutches and canes, spinal cord injuries, I mean, Parkinson's disease, in a week. Like, that's gotta be, like, it doesn't wake you up to what's possible. And you're witnessing a tumor on a woman's thyroid that was there at the beginning of the event, is gone at the end of the event. I mean,
wow.
like, you gotta scratch your head and just go, wow, reality isn't at all the way I think it is, right? And so there's this humility that comes, like, well, I don't know anything, but I'm willing to go down, push the envelope a little bit more. So we're only as good as our ability to execute this, right? But as we get better at it.
Consistency of it too, yeah.
I'm all about consistency, and I'm be the first guy to say, do the blood test, do the scan, let's do the test to make sure that it's just not in your mind, it's in your brain.
Yeah.
Let's know. So now the evidence then supports it, the testimonials support it, and all of a sudden people now are beginning to wake up to what's possible. And just like the 4-minute mile. The 4-minute mile was broken. Once it was broken, we pierced the veil. Everyone did it. So we're just seeing now the same thing. We've pierced the veil, and people are just all in. They're not 50% in, they're all in. And my goodness, we're creating this kind of wake and momentum, but not just for healing, but for creating new jobs and new relationships, new opportunities.
Abundance, everything, yeah.
Whatever it is that they want. People come to the work for all kinds of reasons, and I don't really care. But by the time they start doing the work, all they really want to do is give. Because when you feel so amazing and feel so great about yourself that you no longer want anything, the first thing you want to do is give. I mean, when we see that brain scan moving into coherence and those 2 hemispheres come together, and all of a sudden we see that heart just start going boom, boom, very orderly, and see the more energy going in the brain goes into super coherence. You can walk around and look at that person who's getting the brain scan, and there are tears of joy rolling down her face. She's feeling so whole that it's impossible to want. How can you want when you're whole? Now you feel like you already
don't need anything.
You feel like you have it already. That's the moment the magic happens. So she's no longer creating from lack and duality and separation.
Scarcity, yeah.
The scarcity. She's feeling like it already happened. That's a very profound signal in the field. That's dropping a big stone in the water and it's producing some big waves.
And things are starting to manifest. She's attracting synchronicities, everything.
Yeah, now she's drawing it to her. So then, if you're doing that, to answer the original question, is that then if you keep practicing that, then you got to get up and maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day. And it's just a practice. And as you do that and you start seeing all the fun things happening, it's not like, oh, I got to go create my life today. Right. You're like, I got to go because I don't want the magic to stop. So I just do it because I love the crazy, magical, wonderful things that happen that I would just never anticipated in my life. And so people are catching on to it, and they start coming for one reason, you know, they want money or they want health,
Sure.
but it's not about your money, it's not about your health, it's not about your new relationship, it's not even about the mystical moment, it's about who you become in the process. Because overcoming all those limitations to become somebody else, nobody can take that away from you.
Wow. And do you feel like you've answered those questions for yourself? Who am I? Why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah, I think so. I think, though, that...
Or is there questions you still haven't answered?
No, I mean, it's not that there's questions that I still haven't answered. It's just that I'm always changing my answers. Because I'm not... I mean, even my definition of surrender, just from 6 months ago, is not even close to the same definition that I have today.
What's the definition now?
Well, surrender, man, is just greater degrees of letting go and trusting.
Everything.
I just like when my world is going sideways and my staff is just freaking out, I'm always like, oh, I'm just gonna let go. I'm not gonna control anything. They're like, what? The ship is sinking. I'm like, yeah, but I gotta go against the chemicals and I gotta trust.
Because if you're gonna stress in that moment and have anxiety, you're gonna create more of that.
Oh, you're going to make things worse. So I just let go all the way, and you gotta lay down the very thing you used your whole life to get what you want for something greater to occur, and that's not one bite, that's not one leap. Yeah, it's a practice. And so letting go a little bit more and trusting. If you over surrender, that's lazy and lethargic. Right. If you over intend, that's trying and forcing. So there's this razor's edge between intention and surrender, right?
Wow.
You got to be able to
You gotta take action.
Right, yeah, right.
And surrender.
Right,
Yeah,
but you don't want to get in the way, right? So, and that's a lot of trial and error, you know, but you figure it out, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you feel like your mission is right now then?
Wow, so for me right now, I mean, my passion are these week-long events.
How many do you do a year?
We do about 10, just a little less than once a month, you know, around the world, and it's usually about 1,000 people. And now what we're doing is we're doing this whole nother level. We're doing two really cool things. One is a challenge activity. And what I want to do is, we now know that our students can create a lot of brain and heart coherence, but they can do it with their eyes closed in a room with 1,000 people and soft music playing, they feel safe. But now let's get them in a situation where that would normally elicit fear or some emotion.
Get them in the real world.
Get them in the real world and get them up somewhere where they're feeling a little uncomfortable, or they're being challenged through endurance. And let's see them create brain and heart coherence right on that spot. Like this is the moment. This is your life. Like you got to be able to do this right now. You can't say I can't. It's too hard. I can't do this. I'll start tomorrow. I don't want to. That's not the moment. That's what you do in your life. Let's put you there, and instead of just white knuckling and pushing through, let's get really conscious.
Surrender.
Let's get really present.
Yeah.
Let's create that heart and brain coherence, and let's work it. And then make the move when you're in that state. You know, rhythm through that resistance. Create that kind of coherence. And I was just at the HeartMath Institute, who we partner with, and Doc Childre, the guy that created HeartMath, he said, it's all about rhythm through resistance. It's about that ability to create that kind of internal order when there's chaos going on around you. So what's the relevance of that? A person who's going through a challenge activity that's a huge obstacle course, and they have the belief that they have a spinal cord injury or they have MS or Parkinson's disease, and they never try anything in their life, and we got them up there. And there's people rooting for them, and they're in that state, and they're in that heart coherence, and they go through that whole course, and they've overcome. They're going to walk back in their life, and whatever challenges that they have, they're going to be like,
this is nothing.
This is nothing. Yeah. I've just reset the scale. So, and the other thing is that people move past where they normally can go. There's a liberation of energy. And that's available energy that just needs to be organized. So then they start organizing that energy, then they're doing magic. The other thing we're working on is non-local healing, what we call the cage. We get a person to lay down with a health condition. We get 8 people around them. We teach them about energetic coherence. We talk to them about the science that it's not matter that emits a field. It's the field that creates matter. Change the field, you change matter. We give them the science and the understanding, and then we let them go. And we have seen people, all kinds of healings take place in 10 minutes. Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain a person laying there who isn't even being touched and their entire body is moving in all these different directions with energy? It's incredible. So
Wow.
I want to develop that. Why? I want to get so good at that, Louis, that 50% of those people that are laying down get up healed. We're going to walk into a city when we do a week-long event. We're going to call the Children's Hospital. We're going to say, send those kids with cancer down. We're going to change futures, right? And men, you know, you talk about opening your heart, but if you think you open your heart, but when you get an opportunity to give, and these people have been working all week long. When it comes time to heal, they're not saying, "Oh, my back hurts." They're not saying, "How long is this going to go?
Right.
Am I doing it right?"
Transform someone's life, yeah.
They left those attitudes on Monday.
Yeah.
This is Friday. This is Saturday.
Sure.
They're hooked. They've been connecting to the field all week long. They're not in their analytical mind. They're beyond their body. They know how to get beyond their environment. They know how to get beyond time. So when it comes time to execute, they've been practicing all week. They've been in a camp. They've been practicing. So you get a group of people doing that together, and all of a sudden the energy. We've measured the energy of the room, and the energy of the room always goes up.
Wow.
It just goes up, and that's available energy to heal. That's available energy to do the mystical. So I just want to get consistent, and I want to get really good at it. And it's not about me.
You're not good at it yet?
We were making great changes, and like unbelievable changes in people's health. But before I step out into the world and say, let's go to the Children's Hospital in Toronto, and let's call up the oncologist there and say, hey, we'll never touch the kids.
Right.
We'll just lay them down.
Just want to hang out.
Yeah. It'll just be a half an hour. They'll just be laying on the ground, and then we'll be done. And develop a relationship. I want to be good enough that when we do it, that we're going to execute an outcome.
Yeah,
and that way we're beyond reproach. It's no longer a bunch of spiritualists doing this. There's a science behind it, and we now know it. Right?
Thousands of cases or etc.
Yeah, we've got tons of cases now.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know the statistics. We're going to start doing the statistics now, and we're going to start tracking those changes. Cool. So then I can say without a shadow of a doubt, yeah, we're at 30%. On the last 3 events, we had 30% remission. Not just like it goes away for a little bit, but it goes away and stays away.
That's cool.
And some people go into healing, they get in the cage for their knee problems, and they come out hearing better. That just happened to a guy the other day. He had a bad knees, and he went in to get his knees healed, but he forgot that he didn't think about his hearing problem. He got bit by a poisonous snake when he was like a 3-year-old kid, and always had hearing problems, wears hearing aids the whole bit. Comes out of he said he'd never felt that amount of love in his entire life.
Wow.
And that's the common thing that people say. The woman that got her vision back, that's not what she talked about. She didn't talk about the fact that she could see. All she kept saying was, I feel like a child again. I feel like a baby again. I feel fresh. I feel like I'm newborn. I feel clean. She kept talking about how she felt. Then she said, oh yeah, and I can see faces now.
Right.
And there were these 2 big flower arrangements on the stage, and she said, I thought those were guards guarding Dr. Joe the whole week. She couldn't even see the flowers. She just saw the form. And she goes, I can see the flowers now. But the first thing was how they felt, and he, the same way, he said, I was sobbing. I never felt so much love in my life. It wasn't like I was trying to feel it, it just happened. And he said, and I got up, and all of a sudden I could hear Dr. Joe talking without my hearing aids, and I just kind of like, my knees were a little better, but my hearing's a lot better, you know? So you never know, right? You never know.
Shoot, everyone's got to get in the cage.